Okay, so now we are again solving for y's. That really, what we're doing hasn't changed, but now we have problems that have both powers and radicals in them. And if you read through the material right above these problems, you should have noticed that we talked about the fact that a radical or a root is the opposite of a power, and a power is the opposite of the root. The only thing that has to happen is the root and the power have to be the same number. Okay, so one of the things when you're solving these guys is you have to ask yourself what is being raised to the power or what is inside the radical, because what we want to do is isolate the thing that's being either raised to the power or being taken the root of. So for this instance, only the y is being raised to the 7th power. So I need to get everything away from that y before I can deal with this 7th power. So again, the first thing we're going to do, just like we were doing in our previous examples of solving for y, is going to get rid of that 7. So we're going to multiply both sides by the number 7. So when we do that, we're going to get 7x equals 2y to the 7th power minus 5. And now we're going to start with moving away the 5. Remember, doing addition and subtraction first, and then we'll divide by that 2. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. Again, so really when you're doing all of this, when just the variable is being raised, it looks very similar to what we've already done in the past. We just have this extra thing that we have a power on our y. So now we're going to divide by 2. Again, the entire left-hand side gets divided by 2, so we have 7x plus 5 divided by 2 equals y to the 7th. This is when we're going to get rid of that 7th power. Because he is a 7th power, the opposite of him is a 7th root. So we're going to do the 7th root of both sides. Again, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Again, the really cool thing over here on the side with my y, my 7th root and my 7th power cancel each other out, leaving me just the y underneath there. So we're going to get y equals the 7th root of 7x plus 5 divided by 2. Again, that whole fraction is staying underneath that radical or that 7th root. Okay, so the second one's a little bit different because notice that the power of 3 is to this whole thing 2y plus 5. So in order to move any of the stuff inside of this parentheses, we have to get rid of that cube root or that power of 3 first. So we are going to use a cube root. So we're going to take the cube root of 3 again to both sides. So over here on our left hand side, we're going to have the cube root of x equal to, and again, my root and my power, because they are the same, I'm doing a cube root and a power of 3, cancel each other out. So this would be 2y plus 5. Now you're going to go about solving for y just like we did in the previous problem. We're going to move the addition subtraction first. So we're going to minus 5 from both sides. So we're going to get the cube root of x, and remember this minus 5 is going to be on the outside of your radical, not on the inside with the x. If you need to, you can put this little line down right behind the x so you know you're stopping your radical right there. And this is going to equal 2y. Those 5's went away. So now we're going to divide by 2. Again, the entire left-hand side gets divided by 2. And I'm going to rewrite this so my y is on the left-hand side. So y equals the cube root of x minus 5 all divided by 2. This would be my answer for the second question. All right, so let's look at our third one. This time we have a 5th root. So again, the only thing being taken the 5th root of is just the y. So we need to isolate this before we can get rid of that 5th root. So what we're going to start off doing is adding 2 to both sides. So we're going to add 2. So x plus 2 equals 4 times the 5th root of y. Now we're going to divide by 4. on both sides. Again, making sure to divide this entire statement by 4. So now we have x plus 2 over 4 equals the 5th root of y. And now again, this is kind of opposite of the first two because this time we have a root and not a power. So the opposite of a 5th root is a 5th power. So we're going to raise this guy to the 5th power, which means we're also going to raise this entire fraction to the 5th power. Make sure to put the entire thing in the parentheses with a power of 5. So we're going to get y equals, again in a big parentheses, x plus 2 over 4 raised to the 5th power. And this would be our answer for question number 3.